Good morning. I'm Dan DeRosa with 19 News Now, coming to you from our digital desk. It has been a busy morning for breaking news. If you're just waking up, we want to make sure we get you the very latest on two very important stories. One here locally for Cleveland. One of them is happening at the 480 bridge. Let's start here locally. Live picture out of Valley View here. We've got something flapping in front of the camera, excuse us, but you can see major piles of mulch there now that the daylight is up. There is a landscaping company located down there underneath the Valley View Bridge, and one of those piles of mulch caught fire at about 4:30 this morning, and it was a massive blaze. We've got video from earlier this morning when the blaze was very visible and sending smoke up and over the bridge. This was again early this morning. Fire started about 4:30. Now the issue here is where this camera is positioned is on the south side of the bridge. You can see the wind is blowing that smoke and fire toward the north. If you are anywhere near downtown, anywhere between Valley View and downtown, you have surely smelled it's almost like takes us back to the Canada wildfires and the amount of smoke that's in downtown. Now, our office obviously located in downtown. We can smell it inside our office. So many of you arriving to work this morning saying, what is going on? What am I smelling? It is, in fact, this mulch fire. Again, here is a live picture out of Valley View. Still an immense amount of smoke coming off of those piles. But that's going to happen when you have a burnable material like mulch. And again, you can see, if you look closer, you can see just above the word breaking news there on the left side, that's an excavator. That is a very big piece of equipment, and it is dwarfed by the size of the pile of mulch next to it, that big, what looks like a dirt pile, that brown pile. And so to have one of those go up in flames is a major issue. There have been no closures on the 480 bridge at any point today. The good news, this fire is a slight distance away from any of the beams that hold up the support. There has not been any issue with that. You can see one of our reporters moving into position. She will have an update here in the next few minutes. We will wait for that. But in other news, and this is a major story, here are some live pictures now that the sun is up in Baltimore on the East Coast. You're looking at the wreckage of what they call the Key Bridge, the Francis Scott Key Memorial Bridge in Baltimore that was hit by a cargo ship. The video we're about to show you of the actual collision and collapse is just breathtaking, especially considering there were cars on the bridge at the time. This happened somewhere between 1:30 and 1:50 in the morning. The first responders got to the bridge at 1:50 and reported that it was a complete collapse. But here is the video. Keep an eye on the left side as you see the cargo ship take out what was a beam or a support, and the entire bridge collapses. Now, what we know about individuals who were on the bridge, we know that they've been using sonar. There are cars now under the water that were on the bridge. That comes from the fire chief in Baltimore. We know 2 people were rescued from the river, have been taken to the hospital, one in serious condition. The other heartbreaking news is that according to the Maryland State Transportation Secretary, there were actual construction crew workers who were on the bridge at the time doing work overnight. This is a live picture now out of Baltimore. As you can see, we're expecting an update in this as well, some sort of news conference to take place. There has already been one earlier from the fire chief in Baltimore. We're going to play that for you. This was approximately an hour to an hour and a half ago, this update. You'll see the live bug, but in the the live moniker in the upper left-hand corner. But obviously this was earlier, but this is the best information we have. until we get this latest news conference that will be starting here momentarily. So let's listen to the Baltimore Fire Chief from just about an hour ago.
We got further information through multiple calls that the Key Bridge, portions of the Key Bridge had actually collapsed. At about 01:50 hours, our first unit arrived on scene and reported a complete collapse of the Key Bridge. We were also given information at that time that there were likely multiple people on the bridge at the time of the collapse, and that as a result, multiple people were in the water. We were able to remove 2 people from the water. One individual refused service and refused transport. Essentially, that person was not injured. However, there was another individual that's been transported to a local trauma center that is in very serious condition. At this time, we have multiple air assets from the Maryland State Police, as well as the Baltimore Police Department, as well as multiple marine assets from around the region, including Baltimore City, Anne Arundel County, Baltimore County, as well as multiple local and state police agencies, National Resources Police, BPD Special Ops Unit is in here, Maryland State Police is here. We have multiple resources. We are still very much in an active search and rescue posture at this point, and we will continue to be for some time. We have a large area that we have to search. This includes on the surface of the water, subsurface, as well as on the deck of the ship itself. We believe at this point we may be looking for upwards of 7 individuals. That's the latest information we have. However, what I will say is the information that I'm giving you right now is as of right now. That's what we know right now. This is a very large incident. It involves a very large footprint. Multiple agencies are operating, therefore information is subject to change.
Again, that was earlier. It did say live in the upper left. That's a stamp that's on there. You're looking at live pictures now, though. This is this morning as day breaks in Baltimore. You can see the wreckage, the size of the ship. I want you to keep this in mind. Each one of those boxes, each one of those shipping containers is what goes on the back of a semi. If that gives you any sort of scale, think about that many semi-shipping containers or what you see go by on a train, and they are stacked, 5, 10 high? And so that gives you a scale of this. We do know that this bridge handles about 30,000 cars a day. That is quite a bit, but from doing stories in the past here locally in Cleveland, I believe the 480 bridge and even the Interbelt Bridge handles much more traffic than that in the Cleveland area. So again, a live look at what this destruction looks like, and the 7 individuals that we heard the fire chief refer to that they know they are looking for. We believe those 7 are the actual construction workers from the Maryland State Transportation Department, sort of their equivalent of ODOT. There were Maryland workers on that bridge at the time, and we believe that's the 7 number that they're talking about. Let's reset this for those of you who are just waking up this morning. There are 2 major breaking news stories that we are handling here. The first one, this is a live picture in Valley View. This is a mulch fire, and you see our Noelle Williams moving into position. We will wait for her update that she's about to give on our 8 o'clock news here, so we'll wait for that to get the very latest from her. But that is a mulch fire that started about 4:30. This is video from earlier when one of those major piles of mulch caught fire, and the smoke is what's now inundating anyone who's been driving, not just on the 480 bridge. If you came across the Interbelt Bridge this morning, if you are in downtown this morning, pretty much from Valley View north, If you are smelling smoke, if you're in Parma, if you're in the Cleveland Heights area, Cleveland, if you're smelling smoke, it is because of this fire down in Valley View at what appears to be a nursery company, a company that handles landscaping, and they have massive piles of mulch in that area. We were showing you in those live pictures. Again, we're going to bring up our current picture. Our Noel Williams is currently about to give a live update for our 8 o'clock news. So let's just take a listen in.
A look at what we've been looking at all morning. Take a look at the scene of where this massive fire happened under the Valley View Bridge. Now, do you see all that smoke? This is the scene that we've been looking at maybe for the past 2 hours. But when we got here around 6 o'clock this morning is when we saw those flames at its strongest. Here's what we know so far, that the fire happened around 4:30 this morning. Right now, there are no known injuries and no known road closures, but this is the biggest issue that we're seeing. I want to see where the smoke is traveling. It's going under the bridge and then keeps going for miles and miles. We've heard Jamie and Kelly been saying all morning that they're even smelling the smoke as far as even in Cleveland. So this is a big issue throughout the morning. Right now, there are still several fire departments on scene. I'm going to ask our photographer to canvass the area. You see several of those flashing lights from those emergency vehicles. We know that several fire departments have been on the scene since about 4:30 this morning when this fire first started. Again, this is a massive fire under the Valley View Bridge. Huge billows of smoke are traveling for miles past drivers on the Valley View Bridge and way past that. There are no known injuries, known road closures. But 19 News, we are monitoring how this will affect everyone's morning as the day picks up. Reporting live in Garfield Heights, Noel Williams, 19 News.
A good update there from our Noel Williams. And when you look at the images from this morning, that major fire in one of those massive mulch piles, I mean, this is going to smolder. They're trying to get it obviously isolated. We saw in that live video, there are other piles of mulch that are sitting there. But if you've ever had mulch on your property, if you've ever landscaped with mulch and it got dry, you know that that stuff can go up really quickly. And it's just going to sit there and smolder. You can see on the bottom of that picture in that flame video, they had excavators in there trying to dig away at that pile. So the unfortunate part for downtown is that you're going to be smelling this for hours. This is something that's, especially as we heard from Jeff Tanchak earlier, the winds are coming out of the south. So this is just blowing this straight into downtown. Anywhere between Valley View and downtown, if you're smelling smoke and wondering what's on fire, this is the culprit. For those of you who are just joining us, let's reset on the Baltimore situation. This is a live picture as the sun is now up on just a grim scene of the Key Bridge, is what they call it. It is the Francis Scott Key Memorial Bridge. It goes over the Patapsco River in Baltimore, and you can see that cargo ship that hit a pylon, one of the bridge supports, and it was a complete collapse. We have video of the collapse. It is tough to watch, especially considering if you look at the support on your left side, there is where the cargo ship hits. When you think about there were cars on the bridge at the time, it was approximately between 1:30 and 1:50 in the morning when this happened. So the traffic, there could have been a lot more traffic, but for those who were on the bridge, there are questions of survival. We do know that there were at least 7 Maryland State transportation workers, construction workers, who were on the bridge at the time. We know that 2 have been pulled from the water. We're not sure if those were construction workers. We just know that 2 people were pulled from the water. One of them, as we heard from the Baltimore police chief earlier, refused treatment, basically okay. That is shocking, just considering how cold the water would be. Still somewhere around 45 to 50 degrees is the water temperature. And then the other individual that was pulled from the water was in serious condition at the hospital. And again, now looking back live. The reason we're going to stick with this for a few minutes is we can see a gathering location for a news conference. Doesn't appear that this is going to start anytime soon. So what we may do is pull away for the time being and then reset when it looks like they're going to come back live for this update. But again, here for Cleveland, we're working two major stories. They just coincidentally both happen to involve bridges. Our bridge story we're working here in Northeast Ohio, not nearly as serious as what's happening in Baltimore, but just wanted to bring you a live update on both because these are the stories that people are going to be talking about today. Major stories, one in Northeast Ohio, one in Baltimore. When you look at that, now that the daylight has come up on that cargo ship, it is just jarring to say the least. We're going to step away as soon as we see that that Baltimore news conference is going to start up. We will come back live here on our digital platforms. Of course, our morning news is ongoing. You can tune in to Channel 19, and then I believe we're on CW 43 right now, and then Channel 19 at 9 o'clock to get the very latest. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a good morning.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps and follow us on social media at Cleveland 19 News.